All right, hey everybody. This is Royal Banks with Paternity University. New video. I haven't seen any of you all in a long time. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you so much. But this newest video is a student success series video. I always want to highlight students who come out the gate swinging. Either sometimes, there may be some obstacles when they come out, but they surpass them and they make it happen. And so I want to highlight two students, Neslie and Gladia of Paternity Link. They're business partners, and they got started in this industry a few months ago. Bought my course and have gone from there. So I want to introduce y'all. Neslie, Gladia, how are you guys doing this evening?
I'm doing well.
I'm doing well.
Okay, perfect. So what either of y'all, can speak, feel free. What made y'all want to get started in this business?
Well, it originally started, it was Nestle's idea, and she was talking to me. This is Gladia, by the way. And I was like, that's pretty good. We could do this together. While you do Florida, I can do Georgia.
Okay.
And we hit the ground running.
Okay, awesome. So was it something, are you guys already kind of in an adjacent industry? Are you in, drug testing or nursing or notary or fingerprinting already, and then you came across this, or is this the first thing that you came across?
No, we're not in that type of industry. I was on YouTube searching for side hustles. That's how I started a
Right.
few months back. And I was trying to identify a side hustle that could eventually transition to a prime hustle. So I want to call it. And I saw your video and I listened. I said, okay, it sounded like something that I could do. And I looked at a few of the videos. I listened to some of the student success stories, and then you're offering a course. And I was like, okay, he's given this much information for free. Let's see what this course has to offer. And so then I discussed it with Gladia. She and I have been best friends for years, and she also has a primary job and another side hustle. So we thought we'd tackle it together, because one of the concerns that I had was the fact that 9 to 5, I'm working. I'm on a clock and I'm often in meetings. Gladia is also working. She works from home, but she may be available during hours that I'm not for answering the call. You said, hey, if you can pick up the phone and talk to people, you can be this could be a lucrative business. So that's how it started, was with more so trying to determine how best to move forward, listen to the information. The startup costs had a lot to do with it. The time commitment had a lot to do with it. And together we thought that we'd be more successful than me going at it alone, because there are some barriers in going at it alone. When starting off, I wouldn't have money to hire a virtual assistant. And Gladia's has an entrepreneurial spirit as well. And we thought we'd complement each other. And that's how it started, little by little, doing some research, laying the groundwork, and determining how we can
Hold
move
on, I'm
forward.
gonna pause you just for a second. Somebody's at my door. Give me just a second. So, number one, I just want to say I really like the fact that you ladies work together. You knew your strengths, your weaknesses, what your availability, your capabilities, and what you could and could not do, right? And so you work together, even though you're in separate states, you're best of friends. You work together to make this happen. So I want to compliment you all on that. I mean, working together is always better than trying to compete or not working at all. Okay. But you
Right.
talked about startup costs. Um, what were your initial startup costs in this business?
I would say to start off, it was about $900,
Okay.
and 500 of it was your class, was your course. So then when we decided to move forward, we had to pay to be registered instead of Florida. We needed a registered agent. We needed an office, so we did the virtual office. We needed a separate phone line. So that was our base. Once we had that going, we're like, okay, we're serious. Then the next step is, okay, we need a website. And that was about $500 more. So 900 plus the 500, say 1,400.
Right. Right. And that's actually not too bad in the scope of a business. That's actually not too bad. You got a professional website done. I tell people, you can just make a landing page, but there's nothing wrong with getting a professional website done. And $1,400, including my course. So technically $1,000, right?
hmm
Um, that's actually not bad to start a business. And technically, I would say right around now is you're about to be profitable pretty soon. Like, counting your, the lab expenses that you've done, you should be profitable probably within the next 2 or 3 DNA tests. If you get a prenatal, then you'll be profitable. So I mean, you're pretty close to getting there, and it'll happen. Sometimes with some businesses, it takes them like 6 years to become profitable. It's not going to take you that long.
I good.
Even if you
Yes.
it's business. You have to make that initial investment, and then
Yeah.
So, what was your first DNA test like? How did that go down? And how did that feel when you make that first sale?
It was nerve-wracking. The first sale was a young lady who wanted us. She just had a baby 5 days before, and she's like, I have a baby. It's my husband and I. Can you come and do DNA test?" I said, "Sure. Yeah, no problem. I've done many of those."
Yeah.
Not.
Hey. Yep.
So you sent me a few of the DNA tests
The
kits.
kits.
So I was like, "Okay, I have those." So I scheduled her on a Saturday because I knew I was available as early as she wanted. I obtained the address, gave her the price, no argument. I was like, "Okay, there's no rebuttal to my price. All right." And once I scheduled it with her, I sent her, we communicated via text, sent her a confirmation, confirmed the address. The next day I arrived. So she lived in this high-rise condo on the beach. And I was like, "Wow, this is our first client." Looking at the ocean, I said, "Look, Gladia, look what we have to look forward to." Because in my mind, I felt like, wow, what a great way to start. Because for me, this shows our potential. So I went into the home, introduced myself, and I set up the kit. Asked a few questions. She's a new mom. And she said to me, "Hey, without waking up the baby, can you still do the test?" I said, "Sure, let's take care of dad first." And I remember the steps after I laid out my gloves, my sanitizer, the swabs, told him what to expect. He sat down. I did 2 on each side, put it away. Then I went to the room and I said, "Look, to not wake up the baby, can you at least tilt the baby's head? I just need enough sample of the cheeks." And she held the head and I swabbed both cheeks. And it was fine. The whole process took like 15 minutes. But because it's a new baby, I try to be very gentle and quiet. And then we moved back outside and gave them a summary of what to expect. So once I entered the home and we just had a conversation, I calmed down. I hope I wasn't nervous to her. I was nervous on the inside. Trying to remember, what I needed, what I didn't need. So once I finished that, I was like, "Oh, I can do this. I can do more of this." It wasn't that hard. It was just more getting outside of my head and being confident and knowing that I've read up. And your course was very informational, and I try to make it about the client and less about me being nervous. So,
Oh, I love how you said that. I try to make it about the client and less about me being nervous, because you communicated to the client. You work with the client on a specific day that both you were available as early as possible. You went to the client's home, okay? You also let the client know what the next steps were going to be after you were done. You made them feel comfortable. You had a conversation. That's what it's all about. That right there, and that's I believe I teach that in the course, and I try to say that, hey, you are working with people who are going through some very nerve-wracking times. So try not to be too sell. You know what I mean? Off sell. It's a relationship. It's a conversation that you're having with people, and you're working with them. Like you said, the baby sleep. Okay, yes, ma'am, absolutely, I can work with that. Let's try this. And you didn't wake up the baby. I'm pretty sure she was very happy about that.
right.
How much did you charge this couple for this test?
I charged them $2.99 for this test. It was an informational test.
Okay, got it. Good. And that's exactly what I guide in kind of what to charge in that area. Perfect. And then your fee was just over $100 or so to the lab to process those samples. So how did it feel like? Did you collect funds from the client prior to the test or during the actual test when you arrived?
It's during the test.
Okay.
I did it during the test. And part of the reason is because we don't have the credit card reader yet. So we have Cash App and Zelle.
Okay.
And I wanted them to feel comfortable paying me that money once they've seen me. So after we arrived at the home, I collected the samples and then the money secondary to that.
Good. And you also, at the moment, at this point in time, you didn't have that social proof, or you're developing that social proof to show that you can be trusted. So yes,
right.
Some things you have to do, you have to go there, take that leap of faith, go there, and then collect funds. And then, so how did it feel? And obviously, I don't, right? How did it feel to release the results to that client, to help them get the answers that they needed? How did it feel?
It felt great because I could tell between my client, which is the mom, and the husband, that this was causing some contention. So having a positive result for them was a good thing. Because although I emailed her the results right after, she said, hey, my husband wants his own results. Could you email him the results as well? So it's coming from you and not from me. So he can trust the results. Like, I didn't doctor it. I said, sure. So I obtained his email address and emailed him the exact same information. And it felt good to be able to have them relax. This was a new baby. She's first-time mom. There's just the two of them. This was an added stress that I was able to help relieve because they had the results and they could move on.
Yeah, you're giving that peace of mind they were looking for.
Yeah.
For sure.
You gave them the peace of mind, and you worked with them, and then didn't you get a 5-star review on your very first DNA test?
Yeah, she was actually the first DNA test. And she's like, oh, you guys are so great. I so appreciate it. I'm like, well, thank you for that. The best thing you could do for us is give us a 5-star review on Google. I asked for it. And then she said, sure, send me the link. And I sent her the link and she did it right away. And I was like, oh. So that felt great. The fact that given that it was our first time and her not knowing that it was our first time, that she was satisfied with the service. Because if nothing else, I want Paternity to be known as a company that values the customer, puts the customer first, and provide excellent customer service. So although she may not need my services in the future, maybe she'll know someone else who does, and that'll be a referral.
Yes. And that actually leads into the next client, right? So, walk me through how you got that client, and then that client is essentially self-referred. It's like, oh, you did so good, I want to have you test the other kid, right? That's rare to have, especially on your second test. So walk me through that client. Like I said, you're not giving too much information, but how that felt and what you did to offer that client good customer service.
Definitely. The second client called asking about paternity testing services. And I said, okay, I answered the questions. I found out what they were looking for. She sounded very young. I said, would you mind telling me how old you are? And she said, oh, I'm 21. I said, okay, you sound younger than you are. I said, who's the test for? She said, herself and her dad. Okay. So after obtaining information, I said, I'm available on the weekends. I can come out. So we scheduled the time. When I arrived to the home, it was her and her father, and he was like, look, let's do whatever needs to be done. Let me do it right now. And I said, if there's any chance that you will have to use this for any legal purposes, for proceedings, I recommend the legal paternity test as opposed to the peace of mind. And he said, okay, sure, let's go that route. So the same thing, had the same process, told them what to look out for in terms of next steps. The results came in immediately. I sent it over to them. In their case, it wasn't favorable, but I knew that they would want to know as soon as possible. And the same client had a brother. So the next day, after giving her the results, she's like, hey, my dad wants to know if you can come back and test my brother. I said, definitely. So 2 days later, I was at their home testing the brother. So now we're waiting for those results.
Got it. Yeah, establishing trust. Just very, very, very important. And for you to even go back and test the sibling, like I've never heard of somebody doing that. Maybe my mom, but like none of my students have ever done that. So like that's a first. And seriously, congratulations to both of y'all on that for just this is what this is all about. Like I said, people are going through some of the most stressful points in their lives in these situations, and you're there to just be a guide to help them. So seriously congratulate. So then, you sold the first, the second, the third, and based on my new system in my course, I have now personally referred you to one of the biggest paternity labs in the world. How does that feel?
Right. That
Feels
felt
great.
great because initially we tried to do it on our own, and the process was taking a while.
Mm.
Which is why we took you up on your offer to do the sending us the kits, the 3 kits to just start off.
Mhm.
So I think it was one of the best things you could have done for us, because now when we get calls, we're not going to be reluctant because we know we have a constant supply of tests coming through. That's going to be helpful in being confident to be able to schedule more tests. But it was very fast. He sent me an email that morning. I responded by the next day he was sending me a contract. I was like, oh, it's like
Wow,
that.
really? I didn't know he did it that fast. I didn't know he did that. You're the
The next day.
first student to get a personal referral from me. You're the first one. And me and that gentleman have talked about this months ago. And I said, hey,
Okay.
give me a few months. Let me properly train the students and let me do it my way. And then I'm gonna personally refer folks to you. Just hold up your end of the bargain and do your. And he said, gotcha. And he held up his end of the bargain. I'm happy. I love it.
I'm happy too. It was
Yeah.
just that fast. I was like, all right.
That's what I'm here for. You did your part. You did your part. And so technically, yeah, you proved my proof of concept in my pilot program. So
Okay.
good.
Yay.
Now to 1 million more tests sold, right? To 1 million more sold.
Yeah.
Very good. Gladia, what about you? You're all the way in Georgia. Okay.
Yes.
And so you're seeing this, I wouldn't say on the sidelines, but I almost called you Crunch. I'm sorry. Neslie. I know that's your nickname, but
That's the nickname.
Neslie is doing the test physically, but how is it for you to see her, getting those calls and knocking that out? What was that like for you?
It's hopeful for me because we're hoping to eventually branch out in Georgia. So once we got the contract with DDC, I was like, okay, maybe now we can start looking up things in Georgia. Like we're set up to go to Small Business Expo here and hopefully market it a little bit more and spread our wings a little bit. And that way, while she's doing Florida, I can tackle the Georgia.
Good. Good.
At least that's the business plan.
And I think that's a perfect plan. I think that's good. I want to talk about mentality real quick. It seems, Neslie, you were very, this is it right here. This is what we're doing. Royal, could you please send me the kits? Could you do this? Could you do that? Etc. And it never seemed like you were doubtful, at least to me, about anything. Did y'all ever feel doubtful at all? And if not, why were you not doubtful? If you were doubtful, why were you doubtful? It's all about mentality. Some folks in general, in business, period, point blank, they get stuck in their mind and like, oh my gosh, I don't. This is scary. But how did y'all work on that?
We kind of fed off each other. We had our moments, especially when the one guy that said that our price was too high or whatever, So we had our moments, but we always kind of cheered each other up. Just give it time; it'll get there. It's needed. The need is out there. We just got to figure it out. And and then we got a little disappointed when DDC took forever to get back, and then Nessie told us about you offering the kit. I was like, yeah, let's do it. You never know. And once we got one customer, like we got our first customer. Okay, cool.
That first one is the one. It's like, oh, I can do this. I can repeat this, and then you'll want at some point in time you'll be at 150 clients for the year. You know what I mean? With all types of tests, and it's just going to be so great. So, what's on the horizon for y'all? Like you said, you're going to open up in Georgia. Is this something that you intend to operate a fly-by-night operation, that you're going to do this for the next couple of months and then be like, all right, I'm done? Or is this something that you intend to operate for a while?
I hope a while. I would love for our side hustle to become our main.
Right.
Your business, your full-fledged business, that you can build and offer great service I mean, hopefully, at some point in time, get county contracts, all types of stuff, do deceased paternity. It's all types of stuff that you can offer. That it's a whole world available. So I'm proud of y'all. I really am.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. And because it's the two of us, and we're sharing the responsibility, sharing the cost, getting ideas off each other, we also have time to build it. We're not rushing. Where we want to take our time, we want to have a great foundation, and as we learn, we implement or make changes. Right now, it's more so, we have an idea of where we're going, and even with performing these tests, okay, each time I go, I want to be more efficient. I want to be more fluid. I want to have processes that when it's not me doing these tests and I am sending it off to someone else to do the test, they have a process, the paternity link way that I want them to be able to follow. So this is more laying the groundwork for us so that eventually, we can leave our day job. This will be our primary day job, and we want to be impactful.
Good. I think it is 100% possible. And I tell people all the time that this is not, I personally don't like the term side hustle. I like the term, your side business or the business that you operate, your 5 to 9, your 5 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it's fine if y'all call it, that's okay. That's just me. But here's the thing, this is not something that you do, and y'all know this because you just stated it. It's not something that you do for a month or a year because it's something cool that you saw me talk about on YouTube, and you're like, oh, let me just try that little hustle real quick. Just like everything else, right? I'm a dibble and dabble.
Right.
This is something that you dedicate at least a decade to. Like, because it's this business is not going anywhere. The business of fertility testing isn't going anywhere. And so your trajectory is going to be like this. It's going to be steady rising. It's going to be like this sometimes. It's going to be like that. Dips, downs, dips. Like, man, why isn't anybody calling? Why is everybody concerned about the product? What's going on? It happens to me, y'all. It happens to me today. I had like 4 calls. Everybody was like, "God dang, it's $1,800 for a prenatal paternity test." Yes, I explained it to them. Hey, this is the process. Ooh, that's expensive. Click. And I'm like, man, dang, it gets me down. I'm like, I'm in it from the long haul. When you zoom the whole thing, it's a 10 to 20 year timeline on this thing. So it's like, what's one day or one call gonna do? So no, seriously, y'all. I'm very happy for y'all. I'm super excited for y'all. Very excited for what you all are gonna do. And yeah, just go for it.
We're excited too. We are excited because the hardest part in the beginning was that we weren't getting any calls. We're like, we're ready now.
How did you start getting calls? Did you do anything on your end, or did it just all of a sudden just start happening?
It just started. Everyone found us on Google. We have the website. It's there, but they're not finding us through the website. They go to Google and then they call. Google My Business. Yep, that's how they're calling. That's how they're finding us. Because I asked, how are you finding? Oh, I found you on Google. I said, oh, this Google thing is working. But that was the hardest part. We were ready. We had the kits. Everything was, the groundwork had already been laid. We're just waiting for the call. And then 1 call turned into 2 calls, turned into 3 calls. And I think by our 10th call, we had our first paying customer. We're like, and then afterwards, the second client, 3 calls later. I said, okay, they're finding us.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the hardest, just waiting for that phone to ring.
Numerically, that means that in 10 calls, right, you got your first client. That means you had a 10% conversion rate on calls. And then from that 10th to that 13th call, you had a 33% conversion rate on calls. That's what that means. That's how you improve analytically. That's very, 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 very good. And then you got the client, that same client, to self-refer and test again with a whole new test, which is just incredible. So you've only been operating, I think for like a month and a half, 2 months or something like that. Like once I sent the kits out to you, I think like in June or something, or July or something like that.
Right.
So what advice would y'all give to folks either looking to get into this business, or folks who've already bought my course and they might be frustrated right now because they're not getting calls? What advice would you give to folks like that?
To those who haven't started, go ahead, Gladia.
Don't get discouraged. Keep trying. Like it might seem like it's going slow, but keep at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say use this time to brush up, go back through some of those courses because we took the course several months before we're actually ready. So then we went back and we looked at some of the courses and made sure that we were read up on the information in case any questions would come, just to be ready at the time that the first call comes through. Then you're gonna get those no's. You are gonna get those no's, and then just thank them for calling and be ready for the next one. Don't get discouraged, and brush up on the information that you know, because you need to be an expert. You need to come across as an expert for the service that you're trying to sell. So read as much as you can read, gather information, speak to other small business owners who may give you some ideas on how to market yourself the cheapest way possible, because we don't have a lot of money to start off. So we had to find the most cost-effective way to market ourselves. And for us, Google My Business was that. And then if you haven't started, start.
Yeah.
If you have your kits, you have, you have your business,
What you need.
you have what you need, put yourself out there, start and answer every call. I used to think there was telemarketers calling me in the beginning, and I realized, wait, it could have been I could have just lost a client. Pick up the phone, because that's how they're coming to us. Like, oh, we called 3 places, just like you said in your course. And we were hearing that in some of the calls. Just pick up every phone call and be excited to help. Go with like that spirit of helpfulness, and it'll convert. Just keep trying.
I 100% agree, Neslie. I think you hit the nail on the head. 2 things. One, I believe that Google, they know that when somebody clicks on your profile to give you a call and you answer, they start to push your profile higher. I think it's something like that. So I think that the more calls that you answer, the higher up you go. Number 2 is, even if you miss a call, if you choose to, you can set it up through the app I use called Open Phone to answer calls, or you could do it manually if you want to. You could say, hey, you don't have to say, hey, this is people from paternity testing, you know what I mean, in a text. You could say, hey, sorry we missed your call. A member of our team will give you a call back in 10 minutes. You could just text, because even with that text, they now have a text. It's like, oh, okay, all right. And then sometimes people respond back and say, oh, thank you so much. And you just give them a call back. Hey, sorry about that.
Right.
Can I help? You know what I mean? Even if you missed a call, like, it's so important to answer those calls. I tell people all the time in the course on the group coaching calls, people they really will go to your website and like click around and order a paternity test on your website. And then you get like, oh, I got some money from somebody. No, they don't do that. They call because they feel as though they're the only person on the planet that's dealing with this problem, and they want to talk. And there you are to help them. Like you said, the spirit of helping. So yeah, good work, y'all. Seriously,
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. I'm always excited to have a student on the Student Success series. Hey, y'all, look, if y'all are out there, either if you're a current student or if you're somebody interested in it, listen to what they said. Everything they said is like facts. And this is like in real time. This is happening. I'll try to get my student success. I don't try to get them after they've done 50, 60 paternities. I try to get them when they get their first, second, and third. So they're like, oh, this is what really happened. This is it right here. And I'm still, they still have the bewildered eyes. Like, I can't believe this happened. So thank y'all so much. Hey, look, y'all out there, if y'all are interested and you're serious about operating this business, I do not want unserious people in this community. I don't. If you're serious, go to paternityuniversity.com. Links in the bio. Check it out. All that great stuff. Neslie, Gladia, thank y'all so much for being on, and thank y'all for providing a good service in your community. Thank you.
Thank you for the course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Until next time, everybody. Goodbye. Peace.